At Quinnipiac, we see more than a campus. We see a community built to ignite passions. We see more than a degree. We see the careers of tomorrow. We see more than a student. We see someone destined to make an impact.
Where are you going? The known path or your own path? Iona College is where you'll be given the means to dream and find meaning in your dreams. To serve while you learn and learn while you serve. To fight the good fight and to own your path. So, where are you going? Iona College. Learn outside the lines.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the EGFC. We are here for week number 10 of SSBU action. My name is Soy. Alongside me, Mr. User Intel. Mr. User Intel, how's it going?
You know, I've got to say, yesterday, when the shower, got to do my hair, I slipped and felt like I just got down smashed, especially from the games that we saw last week. And, that's just a bit of deja vu. And when I'm seeing the familiar teams kind of coming back in this, I'm almost scared of the possibilities of what's going to be happening.
Should be a fun week for sure. We've got 4 matches on the docket for you to start off our day. We've got the Quinnipiac Bobcats going up against the Iona Gales, 2 MAC conference teams really looking to establish themselves in this league. Quinnipiac 8-1 on the season. Iona kind of on the rise so far.
Definitely agree with that sentiment, but honestly, with the players being ready, I think it's going to be a little more exciting to see just their own styles and how they're going after each other, speaking for themselves more than anything, especially when last week both Iona and Quinn, they had pretty interesting matches.
Yeah, Quinnipiac last week, they took down Marist, and those were 2 of the schools that you looked at in this MAC conference and thought these are our championship contenders, or at least they are in that discussion. And Iona last week, or really just over last split, they were newcomers as of this year, this fall split, and we didn't really know what we were going to get from them. But what is very interesting is that Iona, they have a kind of off strategy when it comes to this league, right? Because what they do is they like to front load their player order. They like to go to their heavy hitters first, see if they can secure that win early enough, and then they trust the depth in their lineup to be able to hold on against possibly some of the anchors of these other teams. We are getting information of a couple of these first players coming through. Quinnipiac is sending in Billy Shilley, who we saw last week. He's got a whole gauntlet of characters under his belt. We've seen Pitt in the past. We've seen Pichu in the past. I believe we've also seen PT, if I remember correctly, 4-2 this season. So he's been very good. And on the other side of that, for Iona, it is Moat, who is the fighting games character. So Terry Kazuya is what we've seen most of this season so far.
Ooh, honestly, just having that poll, it's almost like I want to take a second to guess, but I feel maybe they'll have something extremely different. Maybe we'll see just a Rob today or some way just to try to kind of mess things up. But at least when it comes down to the schedule, we still have a good amount of teams going up against each other. I think more than anything, I'm a little more interested with George Washington versus Arlington, because we haven't really had a true showing of them, at least for our side.
Yeah, if you just go down the schedule in general, we saw DePaul last week, and we know how good they are. Weber State, they were unable to play in their first game last week, so they are brand new to the EGF as of this split. George Washington, they've been super fun to watch. They'll go up against UTA, who had their first showing last week. And UTA, big esports program down there, so super excited to see them. And then we cap off the day with really a grudge match between Marquette and Colorado. Those 2 teams have gone back and forth. Actually, Colorado was one of these teams that was kind of the dark horse of the EGF last season. They only took 3 losses, but were kind of overshadowed by teams like William and Mary, Mississippi State, DePaul, those teams that were in that championship caliber. and Colorado was only just a win or so behind them. This season, Colorado's taken a little bit of a step back, and it's because of teams like Marquette who got the upset on them earlier in the fall split, possibly a chance at redemption to cap off our day.
Man, that's pretty much just a moment where you have to say we stay in. We get to see who's going up against who and, well, how those matchups are going to work. Though I'd have to say when it comes down to our first match, I'm very excited to see both Moat and Billy be up against each other. Pokemon Trainer versus Terry. One we're not too common to use to see, at least when it came to last week. So honest. So I gotta admit, I'm very excited to see how these playstyles kind of match up against each other.
The classic start of PS2 for game number 1 here between Quinnipiac and Iona. Billy Shilly, this Pokemon trainer, has been very good in the past, I should say has been very good, because Moat right now untouched through this first stock and 92% already on Billy Shilly.
I gotta say, fairly impressive going in, and I think Moat just has to keep up with this aggression. I mean, Billy's not having any opportunity to really look, and as I say it, Billy just finds the moment with the Vine Whip. It's now looking to try to even up when it comes down to the damage, but Moat is doing a good job of playing carefully, waiting for his spaces, and then shutting it down.
Good neutral air to get back to stage, but that dash attack is ill-advised and will get up smashed. So Moat, ooh, what a clean turnaround from Billy Shilly. The forward throw into back air from Charizard, and things are back to even.
I don't really remember Billy using Charizard last week, so I'm glad to see a little bit more usage of the powerhouse character, but the Squirtle and Ivysaur are what Billy is known for. I mean, just look at how much space you're building up against Moat to where they have to just run up, hit you in the shield, and then they have an opportunity to get grabbed. It's not really looking too great, but yet the damage is still looking in favor of Moat.
Now Billy Shilly in the corner, good aggressive forward air to get out, but Billy Shilly doing a good job of really making Moat work for every inch, as now Moat trying to find a way back to stage and cannot do so. The up B connects, and all of a sudden Billy Shilly has the lead.
I mean, Billy's just kind of winning out when it goes to these matchups. Moat is having an issue when it comes to confirming these kills. I mean, the damage is perfectly fine, but if you're not confirming it, that's being the bigger issue. And I mean, maybe that's a given from the fact that Billy's doing an amazing job of spacing, using Ivysaur to make sure that Terry cannot get in close. But then again, maybe Terry just needs to play a lot faster.
Right now, Billy Shilly holding on to this second stock. Good tether cancel, but he's at 136, and that should be the stock. Be down tilt into side B to clean up that one. But Moat now playing with fire at 110. Billy Shilly's got to be careful. Can't allow Moat to really use this go meter as he gets quick 31 from that Buster Wolf. Looking for another conversion here. He's got it, and it connects, and that's going to be the stock, and Moat turns it around in game 1.
I can't even really call that a comeback. Rather, I would say that was just an impressive strategy of recognizing when your opponent was going to make a mistake. And, Charizard, not as mobile or really as quick as comparably the other characters. I think it's just more impressive on that beautiful slam near the edge around 70, so you're just able to confirm that kill. It's a very great thing about Terry, and I think that's why Terry's one of those more better close-up characters that they've added from the DLCs.
What a catch, too, along that ledge, right? Because Billy Shilly, Moat starts this match starts that last stock off stage, uses the first Buster Wolf to get a quick 30, and then, he's able to find just one clean combo, and Charizard is a bigger body here. You see, through the rest of these replays, I think one of the key portions of this matchup was that, like you said, Moat was able to get in and do a lot of damage. But then once Billy Shilly was at those kill percents, that's when Billy Shilly started to turn on the jets. That's when he started to mount his comebacks. And he was even able to take a lead. Like at 81%, Terry's got him at practically kill percent. But all of a sudden, Billy Shilly finds his one or two openings, finds his combos. And Moat, when he's in disadvantage, he doesn't have nearly as many options as Pokemon Trainer.
You are 100% right, honestly. I would just say, Terry is extremely just built different. That's the best way that I can describe it. You'll never see a Ryu or a Ken do anything similar. Not even a Little Mac. If we ever do see a Little Mac, I think that's just Moat showing off a little bit of the talent. But I think this goes into the question of Billy may not fully be awakened. And I think more than anything, this is the moment where you have to kind of slap your cheek, say, all right, we've got this.
I mean, it was very back and forth, trading stocks both ways, even stock number 1, right? Moat gets off to that hot start. Billy Shilly is able to answer. Moat takes the first stock and then immediately drop down from Halo. Forward throw or back throw back air to answer right back. So it is punch for punch, but it was Moat who was able to take game 1. Game 2 here, I like the stage choice here from Billy Shilly.
I absolutely do as well. Not many platforms that you can go on, so Billy's just having an easier time edge guarding, not allowing you to play the game that you want to, though you still have to be careful. I mean, Moat is at least consistently hitting these small variations of the combos, and they're getting away with a lot, but Billy, on the other hand, is still looking to counter it at every angle.
Look at the combos here from Billy Shilly, from Moat. And that's what Moat does really well in this character. And that's part of what Terry's game plan is. He only needs just a couple of interactions to put you at that kill percent. And all of a sudden, the more you damage Moat, that go meter comes online. And all of a sudden, the kill potential is off the charts. But that's a good parry into the up B. And Billy Shilly takes the first stock.
Oh, I love this parry mechanic. I mean, I don't always see players using it, but that's one of the moments where it truly shines. And I can understand being on Charizard right now, very much your heavy hitter, your glass cannon going up. You just want to pump in as much damage as possible while Terry's just looking to kill you. But, I mean, the big problem comes is that Moat's doing a lot of defending, going for very wide hits, and you're not really being able to kill very quickly due to it.
That being said, 72% onto Moat here. Billy Shilly losing that stock, but here's another quick combo from Moat. Another quick 30-ish% off the back of that one. Billy Shilly wants the forward smash, can't find it. No follow-up from the forward tilt from Moat. Still keeping Billy Shilly to the corner here, but this is where, things are a little dangerous. Moat goes off stage, and that is not an instant snap to ledge, and Billy Shilly takes advantage.
I mean, we've been in this scenario, though, where Billy, is literally just last round, so Billy does have to play a little more careful. Beautiful parry, though, helping to just pump in that damage. I think Moat just really needs to keep going on to this aggressive. Billy's getting away with a lot here.
I like the parry into the up tilt and the instant air dodge in off of that down tilt too. Billy Shilly doing a really good job of kind of playing reactive here, knowing that Moat has to come to him somehow through all those projectiles, but that down B does kill, so back to a last stock scenario here.
No, it's just a little bit more scary. Terry doesn't have that special ability as we saw before it, and, well, Billy, more than anything, gets the back handle! Oh, that was beautiful. You know, they can't even give some analytics on that. That was just rude.
That was clean from Billy Shilly to answer back in game number 2, and what I can really appreciate about this stock here is that Moat has done a pretty decent job for the most part of being off stage and finding a way back to stage. Terry doesn't have a whole ton of recovery options, and Billy Shilly's read on this jump, I mean, it's incredible too, because Moat hasn't really jumped all that often. He's air dodged, he's gone low, but here, the read on the double jump, that's incredible.
Definitely can agree. And I feel this is just more Moat trying to take a second to figure out what they want to do. I mean, this parry is a good example of why you have to very much mix up your style. You keep going with that combo. Billy saw and felt you were going to do it, manages to hit that parry within a second, takes you out. And that's not really something that you're going to be looking for, especially going into the last round, trying to, break this even. You want to take that edge. You kind of just need to mix it up and be a menace when it comes to Quinn, rather than let Quinn get away with these free hits on Ivysaur.
1-1, winner of this set, or winner of this match wins the set, gets those extra 2 bonus points on the board. And puts their team in the lead headed into set number 2. But here on small battlefield, it is Billy Shilly with the early advantage. Good air dodge in, but the pressure's still on here from Billy Shilly.
I mean, you have to be careful, and I'm liking the usage of just the neutral. You just want to limit Billy's own spacing, but this is still similar, very close to Final Destination. But you do have the benefits of those 2 small platforms. I just feel more bad when it comes down to Moat trying to be able to slam down, trying to just clean it up. They're trading very evenly, but I mean, Moat's not being able to kill, even though Terry is debatably a very heavy hitter.
That's a power geyser, and yeah, Billy Shilly just kind of caught in no man's land. Will eat that neutral B. The power geyser taking the first stock. That up B, nope, baited into the up air instead. Billy Shilly answers right back.
They are completely even, but even now they're still just trying to get a sense of how things work. It's just going back into Moat. The moment Moat starts losing ground, you're not really gonna be able to get it back. Terry needs to be controlling the flow of the fight, or you're getting to these dangerous edge guard moments. You have your go, but you're not getting any chance to use it.
Control from Billy Shilly of stage right now. Moat really has not touched the ground in a minute or so and gets spiked for it. Yeah, there's nothing you can do there if you're Moat and you fall below the stage like that. Ivysaur's down air hitbox the size of Alaska, and yeah, Moat's just not going to be able to make it back to stage. So Billy Shilly takes game 3 via 2 stock.
Honestly, Pokemon Trainer just has so much versatility, and I definitely feel a better mix-up when it comes down to these fights. We never really saw Billy doing the same thing over and over again. While comparably, Terry has to do the same things to get back onto the stage. And I mean, that's just an unfortunate, swipe off the map, not even able to reach the edge. That's the risk with running Terry. I think Terry's still a really good character in their own right, but you really have to be controlling the flow of the match, in my opinion, to kind of break the edge, especially when you're going up against a character who can just as easily go from Sonic to a Bowser,
Yeah, absolutely. And Moat able to take that first stock in this game, but after that first stock, this match was really all Billy Shilly, and part of it is just the ability to juggle your opponent, right? Moat was in the air for so long in this match. It felt like it was over 60 seconds by the time, he finally touched the ground. And the last time he touched the ground was off of Halo because of this down air.
That down air was completely routine. That's the second time we saw it, but, I want to see it again at least. It's just always a little funny that tiny Pokemon's able to beat up Terry, who canonically has fought way deadlier creatures, but I think the way these two teams, these players really fought up against each other, that's pretty much going to dictate how the rest of this flow. They were both kind of learning as they were fighting and trying to see who had the edge. While I think this match does help when it comes to the point degrees, I only feel it's going to get closer and closer.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I mean, Moat is the type of player that on this Terry, he's typically kind of formulaic, right? Yeah. I get my 2 or 3 wins in neutral that lead to this combo, which is equal to this percent. All of a sudden, you're at kill percent. I only need to win one more somewhere, and then he finds his opening. But this match, you saw him have to adapt a little bit more, and unfortunately, again, just Billy Shilly was all over him, right? Billy Shilly, also the adaptive type, said, okay, if he's going to play this style, I'm going to, take a step back, use my range a little bit more, and then I really also, you got to point out the utilization of the Pokemon, right? And the timing at which he used. We didn't see a whole lot of Squirtle, but Ivysaur was just clean today, and the Charizard, who you commented we didn't see a whole lot of last week, his Charizard looked very good this week.
Honestly, I very much agree. Charizard is one of my favorite parts of just that Pokemon Trainer, but that's the reason why I think Billy is such a good player. It's knowing, like, you're feeling comfortable on one specific Pokemon, but you're still able to switch up. You have a reason to go on somebody, and that's just what it works. And Terry, if you're not really kind of controlling that game, you're not going to be able to keep up for too long. And now, when it comes down to the next players, I think it's going to be extremely interesting interesting to see how they try to kind of go after this match. You don't have a lot to live up to. It's not like that was incredibly intense, but definitely from both sides, you want to see kind of how you take the pace. It's too early to throw out your tanks, like the big guns, but you don't want to wait too late.
Well, that's interesting because wow, excuse me. Iona is typically the team that they send in the big guns first. They want to see if they can lock up the win as fast as possible. So losing that first round, again, not insurmountable by any means. 4 points is kind of the minimum you can earn via one set. But as we say that, the players have been locked in. Quinnipiac, they locked in Grit, who we saw last week. He's the Bowser Jr. for the side of Quinnipiac, who has been on fire. The new name for the Bobcats is currently 8-0 on the season. And Iona, to counterpick him, have gone with Yaliso, who we have seen is a me extraordinaire. He goes typically with the me brawler, but we have seen me sword fighter, I believe, in the past. And it's also and actually I should say mainly the me gunner along with the me brawler, but also a pocket me sword fighter that I think we've seen once or twice in the past.
Yeah, when it comes down for me, and especially hearing a character like the me brawler, me fighter, I've always had differing opinions when it comes down to me characters, just because sometimes I get stalked by someone who has like a Kermit the Frog meme, and I'm very much petty about it, so I just always say these characters are bad. But I've never really thought about them, especially going up against matchups. When it comes to different people, obviously there's a reason why no one picks the sword fighters. They're just not as good. But I think, just coming off the top of my head, if I were to give them a placement, I'd say the gunner is one of the more better characters. And although going up against a Bowser Jr., I don't know how well I can say that. They're fairly equal. I guess we'll just have to see what's built in the kit, and it's actually just a Doom guy.
And that's one of the things about having the me fighters on stage, is that sometimes you have to learn the kit as you go. You generally know what moves they have, but you're not quite sure all the time which ones they've opted to take. That being said, Yaliso, this me gunner has been very good, and the one thing that's been very impressive this season for Yaliso is his movement. He doesn't always get a ton of combos, but he is very hard to track down. But so far, Grit doing a decent job of finding him, as he's got Yaliso up to nearly 90%.
I think it's just really hard, especially when all of your moves are based on range. I mean, Bowser Jr. doesn't have to play at a distance. Bowser Jr. he definitely can, but I think Grit is showing that room of just, hey, I'm going to change up my playstyle, I'm going to set my bomb, and I'm going to look to be more annoying than you ever can be, especially when I feel the set that, Yal is going with is easy to predict and very much easy to see where it's going, though, as I say that, Grit gets caught by a very horizontal move.
Good back, Aaron. That is actually going to take the first stock off the board, so Grit able to strike first. But that being said, Grit is at 130. But look at the combo here. Quick 2 up airs to get Yaliso up to 30%.
It's nice. Grit can't really fully commit, solely just since, Doom Guy is well known from taking people out in just a single punch. You just have to play more cautiously, but I'm still loving the fact that Grit is not looking to give up as much space as possible. I mean, just look at that!
That was clean. Grit reading the roll from ledge and following through on the DI to take that second stock off the board, and Yaliso now kind of lost a little bit at 40% on his last stock, and Grit, I mean, he was practically untouched that stock.
I mean, I agree. It's good that, Grit's finally getting off the stage for a second, still dangerous, almost managing to finish this. You just need to kind of confirm the kill, get some momentum back in. That's what I'm talking about. But it's still a bigger problem that Grit's kind of freely being allowed to set up, especially with their Koopa Bomb. I think that's the biggest utility right now on Grit's own side. And if you're not really shutting that down, I feel you're just going to get away with a lot more.
I'm actually shocked. I think that Koopa dropped, or excuse me, it blocked the neutral B from Yaliso. But that's also something that Grit has done very well at. You know, these Koopas, his timing of them and how late he can sometimes pick them up and still have the time to throw it and set up whatever combo he wants. The management of the space he's given right now is fantastic. Not a lot of options left here for Yaliso. He's at 108, has to find a way to try and even things up here, but how do you get in on Grit right now as he just keeps poking away at him with these projectiles?
I think it's even more disrespectful in the fact that Grit's doing an amazing job knowing that, hey, it's gone, I place it back again. You literally lose nothing of a second when placing those Koopa Bombs. And, well, it's a big distraction that helps Grit take the first win. And I gotta say, an impressive showcasing. You know, just last week, Grit caught me, you know, lacking with my jaw down. It absolutely made me drool, which is playing very dreamy. And I gotta admit, a little bit more finesse when it comes down to today. I'm just loving the usage of the bombs. I feel they're obviously going to be a lot more dangerous than just the cannon itself or throwing yourself out of your little plane. And that's why you just see it being the main kind of item. It's going to kind of break that distance against the Mii Gunner, while, you know, I think the Mii Gunner has such a specific playstyle, it doesn't always work out.
Yeah, and Yaliso, I mean, he does have kind of a game plan. I don't want to say it's a linear game plan, but you can tell his movement is his big thing as a player, right? He makes himself very hard to track down in the first place so that you can't land a ton of your combos. But the problem is Yaliso doesn't get a whole ton of damage off of that movement. Mii Gunner doesn't have, I think, the most bread and butter of combos. And this stock here in particular is really where the momentum shifted as Grit getting that up B into the hammer swing as well, reading the roll after the ledge get up from Yaliso. And Grit, just the control of the pace of the game. Yes, Yaliso had his moments where he was able to fight back. He was able to take this stock here. But, you know, after all that chip damage, if you can't find a way to take the stock, it's the same problem that Moat had in the first set of the day.
You know, I very much agree. When you're kind of switching up and when you're going into the second round, I think this is going to be harder than anything else, mostly just since Grit seems to be able to just be prepared. Though, having Final Destination, it may work out, but it's still a back issue. Just look at that. Koopa Bomb is able to get away with so much.
I do still like this stage. The problem is when you're in disadvantage again, Yaliso's going to eat a lot of percent for that. And how do you find your way out of the corner here? Is Grit untouched? That forward smash, very dangerous. Has to dodge his cannonball and cannot do so. Grit with a 0 to death to start this second game.
I mean, Grit, you didn't need to really do it like that. Maybe you're just making a statement of how Bowser Jr. should be able to defeat Mario in the games, but I think this is just more of a statement of how, you know, the Mii Gunner is not being able to properly figure out what do I do against Grit. Though I understand the rockets, you're limiting the mobility. That's not really being the big problem. I feel more than anything, it's the Koopa Bombs. They're hitting sometimes out of nowhere.
Nearly found the hammer swing yet again. Yaliso, a lot of these jumps starting to get called out, and you would think that Mii Gunner, with all these projectiles, would benefit more from a stage like this, but Grit's saying, hey, my projectiles are just a little bit faster, just a little bit stronger. Even the cannonball, Yaliso has to respect, and that's a kind of a slow-moving projectile that you have to watch out for. Another wrinkle is even forward airing the mine back. There's just, it feels like every option Yaliso has, Grit has an answer for.
I mean, Grit does, and not only that works solely because you're Bowser Jr., but Grit is just an incredible player a lot of these times. And I mean, just look, trying to edge guard, easily get shield, and what are your options now? The Bowser Jr. has so much space and has switched things up. Ooh!
Good charge shot there from ledge by Yaliso, so he takes one stock off the board, but he's already at 130, And there's, what an angle from Elisa to get around all of those edge guard options, all those projectiles, but he's still in trouble here and he can't tech the stage in time, and now all of a sudden it's 2-1.
More than anything of just 2-1, it's kind of very low percentage, and that's not really what Yelso is kind of looking out for. I think this is where you really are hoping that Grit's at a high percentage, looking just for those easy kills. You're not being able to land a lot of things, and that's becoming the bigger problem. I mean, I'm liking the idea that you're making that space. You're looking to play at these angles, but when you want to close up, those Koopa Bombs, once more, stop you from being able to push and Grit. It's just continually walking forward, being as a menace as possible.
Eliso's got his charge shot here. Could do a lot of work, but it's probably going to take another couple bit of percent for that to actually kill. Dangerous spot for him. He is able to make it back to stage and does manage to get the rockets off in order to buy himself some space. But I think Eliso's got to play a little bit more of this boxing game if he's going to come back in this one, and he's running out of time to do so. He's got Grit up at 100%, but can he find these angles? Again, just a lot of pressure here from Grit, threatening a lot of space. Trade here, that back air not going to connect from Grit. Has to find a way back to stage. That forward smash still not going to land. That's numerous times he's tried to call out that neutral get-up.
Unfortunately, it's not even in the room of the possibility to just go risky. You're on one stock. You just have to try to go with what works. Unfortunately, the damage keeps stocking up. It's good that you got Grit off of it, but yeah, pretty much just have to not get touched at all in this fight.
Last stock here for both of them. Yaliso got around the first projectile, but there's nowhere left to run to. The down smash covers it all, and Grit takes it 2-0.
I gotta say, it felt like Grit was watching the stream, but instead of a delay, there's actually just a forward button, and it's just there. I feel Grit almost had kind of a inhuman timing at points of knowing what the opponent was going to do just to plan against it. I mean, look at this. This is a moment where you almost get it. You force it in the air, and well, Grit finally was able to land a slam. A forward smash would have most likely missed, so I'm very much liking the down smash more than anything.
This first stock, though, is really where everything started to shift. I mean, there's no more options there for Yaliso left when he gets hit off stage by that Nair. This up B doesn't quite snap the ledge. He gets that forward smash off, and then there's just nothing left in the tank for Yaliso. You could try up B'ing again, but he'll just get down smashed like you saw at the end of the game there. And so that was really smart by Grit. Really appreciate what Grit was able to kind of pull off. Every opening he got, he made something of it. Very opportunistic, and Yaliso typically not one to give many chances. So Grit, another huge point was being able to kind of control the pace of the match and make those opportunities.
I definitely see, and oh my goodness, I didn't even get a good view of what happened there. So, you just gotta love replays, shining some of the best moments, but also some of your worst. There is no discrimination when it comes down to players and how they go up against each other.
Yeah, on that last, on that stock that Yaliso lost his second one, I believe that was techable, but either way, even if he does, just the pressure that Grit applied off stage was incredible to watch. So Grit able to take set number 2. Quinnipiac, they are up to another big lead here, 10-1. Again, not insurmountable by any means, but it puts a lot of pressure here on this third match for Iona. And remember, we talked about this. Iona, they like to try and get these early leads for themselves, and then they trust the depth of their lineup to hold on. Quinnipiac taking the first 2 sets, things are not going according to plan for the Gales.
No, I definitely agree, and especially very early on, you said that Iona, they were the ones who sent out, the big guns very early, trying to take that lead as quick as possible, and yet it looked like Quinn were prepared to go up against it, choosing someone like Grit very early on. Not gonna have that later, but I don't think that's truly gonna be the big problem you're looking out for.
And we'll have to see how these teams decide who to send in next. Remember, in this type of format, the winner of the last set, they select their player to go in for the next set, and then the opposing team gets a chance to kind of counterpick. So Grit was selected first in that set, and Yaliso was Iona's counterpick. Now in this set, once again, Quinnipiac won. They get to send in their next player. Then Iona gets a chance to respond. Those players have been locked in. We are seeing that it is Bako, a Shulk main for Quinnipiac, going up against Rat King. And they are, we're getting word that they're going through button checks right now. But if you look at these two players, Bako, he was one of the biggest names of this Quinnipiac team last year. Currently 4-2 on the season, but Bako was really... I don't even know how to describe it. He was a clutch machine. There were numerous times when Quinnipiac was put with their backs up against the wall, last stock, last set, or they need like a 3 stock in order to come back. And Bako was the go-to player for them. He was clutch all the time, every time for the Bobcats when they needed him the most. But this season, taking a little bit more of a step back, not as much starting time, giving a couple of these newer players a chance, and 4-2 so far on the season. On the flip side of that, Rat King, another player we haven't seen a whole ton of, but he seems to be king of the low tiers. You look at Bowser Jr. in his kit, King K. Rool. We've even seen Little Mac, and his Little Mac, it was very, very good. 3-1 so far this season. So this is bound to be a very unique matchup.
Listen, yeah, I've been yelled at so many times because I don't think Little Mac is as low as a tier as people always suggest he is. Little Mac has so much potential, especially for players who are very good at hitting people. And that's easier said than done. But when it comes down to Smash, and definitely the mechanics some of these players have, punching anybody can be a difficult task, and that's just what Little Mac thrives on. And I'll say it right here. I'll like risk my entire reputation to say that I at least think Little Mac is a bit higher than most people will ever expect, especially going up against a character like Sora, hypothetically, who had very quick abilities to set up, especially when it comes down to shield, buster, everything like that. I think Little Mac can punish every little gap that it takes to switch to an ability. But, I'm the one with a clown nose trying to say that.
I mean, here's the thing. You have, when you're going up against Rat King, you never know what you're going to get, right? We've seen those 3 characters, which, again, are, assumed to be low tier. But sometimes that's the fire you need to kind of say, hey, you think this character's low tier? Let me show you what they can do. And you get the 3 stocks and the 2 stocks from some of these players. Little Mac, again, in his gauntlet, in his wheelhouse, looked very good. I think we've typically seen the Bowser Jr. and the King K. Rool, but it is, I think, one of those cases where it is a little matchup dependent. Bako has exclusively gone Shulk this season and last season, and Shulk is a character that has had a lot of success here in the EGF. They do a very good job of kind of controlling the stage with their range, and also just the amount of damage they can do sometimes is very scary to deal with. That Little Mac we talked about is going to take center stage here for the side of Iona, and Bako on the Shulk, starting off on PS2.
Now, we get to see how threatening or truly what power the Rat King's going to be able to bring in. I mean, Bako still, though, has a lot more range, so it could be a bit of a mix of how they're trying to combat each other.
That is going to be the name of the game right there, what you saw. Bako immediately throwing Rat King off stage and then looking for the forward air. He wants this Little Mac off stage. Similar to Moat's set where the second Moat is in disadvantage, he's in a lot of trouble. But the armor on that up smash nearly finding the stock, and Bako immediately switching to Shield Art. KO Punch online. Shield Art will not save you from that one, and Rat King takes the first stock.
Look at that. little bit of super armor, and one massive blow helps Rat King take the edge. And it does look like Bako is pretty much doing the smartest thing that you can do against any Little Mac player, and that's punish the recovery. Rat King's not even gonna try it. There's just no use. You know, that's absolutely Big Mac's, Little Mac's biggest weakness, is just trying to get back on that stage.
And not a lot of options when you're trying to recover, but when Rat King is on stage, this Little Mac, the amount of damage they can do and the amount of raw kill power in their kit is something else. Good parry there from Bako, but can't get the follow-up. Rapid Jab comes through, Shield Art is gone, switch to speed here. That up smash might have been held a little bit too long, and the jump was burned early. Rat King still able to make it back, though. But look at the quick aerials from Bako, just applying so much pressure. Rat King kind of forced to the air here, and no easy way back to stage. KO Punch, no counter, though, and KO Punch online now. Bako got to play very careful. The KO Punch is used, but it is whiffed, so a little bit of a sigh of a relief from the shoulder.
I mean, I do love the fact that Bako is spending a lot of time trying to force the Little Mac off the stage. You know, that's what you're looking for. But, you know, this is where the Buster and the Shield truly will start to shine. Being able to launch a little farther, being able to not be launched a little farther, it's definitely going to be that threat. But, I mean, Rat King is playing at such a quick pace, it's absolutely terrifying. And it's only because, you know, Rat King's at high percentage, they're able to knock them off to the point where they don't even attempt to recover, but you need to be doing that more consistently.
Buster here going to be huge. Look at all the damage Rat King is soaking up because of this Buster being online. Quick 69% onto Rat King on his final stock. That up B not going to connect either. Shield Art making Shulk one of the heaviest characters in the game, so killing him not going to be any easier. Stuck on the platform, but the up B is not going to connect. A good counter to get back to stage, but it leads to a forward smash. Rat King's got KO Punch. Does he find a way back to stage? No, he does not. You cannot land there, and Bako takes game one.
You know, I could almost sense the uppercut trying to come out against the Little Mac on that stage, but unfortunately, I don't think it came out. Maybe it was a second of a delay reaction, or maybe Bako, you know, is just able to land the attacks quicker, and Rat King didn't even try that, and I'm just hallucinating, you know, my own predictions, but I definitely feel this matchup is incredibly dangerous. You don't want to sleep on that Little Mac, and more than anything, you want to respect them as much as possible, but, I mean, then you have to change up your own style, and do I look to play a little more aggressive, force them off the stage? Do I play back and just reactive, kind of react against what the Little Mac is doing, especially, like, these moments, especially, you know, the blockables?
Yeah. That KO punch, yeah, I was gonna say unblockable. As you see here, look at that.
My bad.
No worries. That shield came out from Bako. He was kind of ready for it. He was ready for Rat King to throw out something, but that KO punch is unblockable, and it was able to take the stock. And even Shield Art, right? Shield Art's online. It makes Shulk one of the heaviest characters in the game. I believe actually maybe the heaviest, and it still is not going to save you from that KO punch. The problem was Rat King, again, when you're in disadvantage, you don't have a ton of options. He got caught jumping one too many times, actually three too many times, really, and ended up losing all his stocks for it. So Bako able to find those advantages, especially on stage. That is the question here. Can Rat King find a way through all this range of the sword and get Bako to those kill percents? Because Little Mac has all the power in his kit, all those possible kill moves. They are connecting here for the most part, but that counter going to get him off stage. That forward smash not going to land, and back to neutral they go. Armoring through once again on that up smash.
I mean, Rat King's coming really close to the KO, but the counter punishes it. I mean, they weren't going for the KO at that second, but the punish, stopping that meter, absolutely beautiful. Bako is learning how the Rat King is starting to play out, and it's not going to be working to their favor, but that parry at least kind of changes how it's going to work.
And Bako's saying, you know, we haven't... Oh, that's a good up smash from Rat King. Just the edge of it connecting. And we saw a few counters from Rat King in game number 1, but Bako almost never used counter. Using it twice on that first stock is a good mix-up that Rat King is now going to have in the back of his mind throughout the rest of this game.
Ooh, just that second brings up the shield, and well, Bako's going to be feeling a little bit more defensive in a second. And, you know, it's almost like they're trying to react, but look at the uppercut! Before the reaction can even come in, Baco is just trying to get a second, to gauge how they want to move in, and, those second delays is what Rat King is punishing.
Oh my goodness, Rat King has a read on Baco's movement right now, but that's another early jump, and the air dodge to get away. That was huge, another opportunity for Rat King here. Down smash gonna get countered though, and that does actually end up taking the stock, so things back to even here, but Baco has to play so careful. He's at 92%, speed up making him a little bit lighter, and Rat King, he wants this stock. He wants to give Iona a chance here in this set, but look at all the pressure that those forward airs do. Rat King does not have an easy way in. A lot of shield pressure here. That's a shield break, and Rat King, as long as he connects this is the game. That neutral beam not going to connect, though. The switch to shield art, a second chance here for Baco? No, too far away. Things got a little scary there for a moment, but is Rat King able to take game 2?
I love that recognition coming in from Baco too. Just didn't feel it was even worth it trying to get to the stage and didn't even have the opportunity to. Rat King getting that shield break was very much the shining point, I think. I don't know how common it is, sometimes I don't really try to remember how many times a person gets their shield broken, and I mean, even look, Baco was hoping that they would be able to come back, gets that jump, but it's really unfortunate. Now, tied up, this is why you really have to fight against Little Mac as if you're always at that single stock. Little Mac's going to have that big potential, but I feel those very linear movements and almost predictable patterns of Rat King, well, you're going to get punished, and look at that. Yeah, able to get away so much.
I mean, the counter is one of those weird things where it just doesn't look right because he hits so far behind him, but either way, Rat King, it felt like he had very good control of this match after losing his first stock, which is a weird thing to say. It's almost like he found another gear here. This is where things really turned around. This opening was incredible by Rat King. The armor through the first one, and then immediately catching Baco, right? So the armor through here, and you see Baco's trying to get out. He's just trying to get away. Jumps, and the uppercut, that KO punch, it's just got enough height on it to catch him before he gets out of the range of it, and it is able to seal away that stock. So game number 3 here between Rat King and Baco. And remember here, I think, depending on the overall scoreline, if Baco wins this match, it might be out of reach for Iona. So all the pressure this week on Rat King here against this Shulk.
Very much would just like to see Baco live up to Shulk's range. We've already saw it very early on of just how much distance you're able to break through and how oppressive it can feel. Rat King can only do so much against it, but you have to respect the knockout punch.
There's a lot of right ideas and wrong execution going on here. Baco, that was such a smart counter, but Rat King just the patience to hold on to it. Hold on to that KO punch. Baco is able to use that smash art to take the first stock off of Rat King, and things are back to even. Smash art, something we haven't seen a lot of in this set either. And Baco too, also, we gotta talk about the stage selection, giving him a lot more space to work with because he does not want to engage this Little Mac. This shield is getting very low, and with all the armor on those smash attacks, it is scary to approach Rat King.
You're absolutely right. I mean, Baco doesn't even know what to do anymore. It is looking to spend their time in the air and try to, bait Rat King to walk in to get hit, but it's just not working out. Rat King is just parrying perfectly and looking to shut down Baco at every point.
I like the idea to get back to stage, but with Buster, that's a lot of damage going onto the side of Shulk here. Rat King with a lot of percent lead. But can he find a way to take this stock? That's a huge down tilt KO punch online. Not going to connect though. Baco just outside the spacing of it. And now Rat King's got to search for a way to take this stock. Counter comes through for Baco, so Rat King forced to the side of the stage, and the back connects. Rat King was turned around, and all of a sudden, it's Rat King on his last stock.
I mean, Rat King does have a good chance of forcing this to a one-stock scenario, but the question goes as to how much damage are you going to take in the meantime, and as Little Mac, you really don't want to be taking that much damage, you really just want to be aggressive, and it seems that the answer is going to be around 52%. Now, Bako just has to kind of finish it out, especially with the platforms gone. This is only going to get harder for Rat King. This is where the KO, your clutch moment, it's going to be the big factor.
Smash Art coming online. That up there is going to do it, though. Bako, last stock clutch once again. A classic we've seen time and time. And Bako getting the win here in set number 3 over Rat King. And that is a whole lot more points headed Quinnipiac's way. So if you're Iona, you're looking for a miracle in the next 2 sets to try and bring this one back.
And I just say, though, you know, I try to speak up for my Little Mac players, and Rat King, he didn't let us down, but Rat King just did not have the edge in this, you know. I still give it, though. Going on to the Smash, I mean, that was just a beautiful moment of recognizing I can kill here, especially with that ability open. You know, Rat King really didn't have that many options, and if you're not looking to try to burst it down extremely quickly and look to kind of overwhelm your opponent, it's just not going to work out. Though, these uppercuts and punches, you know, that's something Bako definitely wants to work on. Just not try to be a little bit over-eager against your opponent, especially when they have a move that can kill you at almost any stop.
The patience there from Rat King was really impressive on that first stock. You saw Bako was able to battle back using that Smash Art. We hadn't really seen the Smash Art all game, so it was a good adaptation. But again, Bako just able to find the openings here. This was an impressive one. He had not used the side B all game either, and to hit the actual backslash, right? The backslash doesn't do a whole lot unless your opponent is actually facing away. You have to actually hit them in the back for it to do all that knockback. And this is where things got really scary, because yes, Rat King, he's at 52%, which is a good amount of extra credit, but also that KO punch started to come online. And then right here, this was a smart adaptation by Bako to use the Smash Art and go for the up air. But if you look, Little Mac actually tried to get the counter off. Here's another look at this sequence again. Bako gets the back throw off stage, Smash Art comes online, and Bako goes for the up air, but this counter just doesn't come out in time. There's the animation of the startup of it, but the up air actually connects before the counter hitbox or hurtbox comes out. And so Rat King almost was able to get away and keep himself alive there for a moment. But no dice. It is Bako able to take the set. Very good adaptation from him throughout that set, and really a very entertaining match to watch. Down to the nails right there. 15 to the score after 3 sets. So again, if you're Iona, it's not out of the realm of possibility. But now you're looking at like 100-1 odds. You'd have to go back-to-back 3 stocks just to make it close. And then you'd still need to win the next set by a lot. So we'll have to see who these teams opt to send in. We're looking to get those names now. Looks like Mr. Purple being locked in for the side of the Bobcats, the Nest player and captain of this Quinnipiac team, going in that 4th slot. And for Iona, it is Lofts. Now, Lofts we've seen a couple of times in the past, mostly rocking the fast fallers, I believe. Players like characters like Roy and Falco we've seen, but we haven't seen a whole ton of Lofts this season. 0-2 so far. We'll see what we can do here.
That's just a training arc, you know? That was nothing more than one player kind of going down a little, went back, you know, had to go punch some waterfalls, split them up, figure out their chakras, and I definitely feel that though the points are looking a bit more, well, not a bit, a lot more in favor of Quinn, Iona are still, at least 2 out of 3 of these matches were still extremely close, and as much as we're going to be looking at these kind of character matchups, I think it's more the player matchups that I think are going to matter when it comes down to this one.
Absolutely, and what's interesting too, you know, is that we look at you can talk about the character matches all you want, but the players, you know, they make or break these moments. This is an interesting switch up of kind of an character that we're seeing here from Lofts. This Mario, brand new for his cast of characters, going up against Mr. Purple's Ness. I do like the character matchup, but between these two, Mr. Purple, you look at the numbers and the experience Mr. Purple has, he has to be the favorite, but Lofts can certainly get some damage done.
I mean, when it comes to this matchup, we're going to be looking to see. Definitely love the Mario, especially just looking to stop Mr. Purple from getting on the stage, but a Ness that knows how to use PK Thunder is a danger in every sense. I mean, just look at this example of the edge guarding. There's just nothing the Mario can do, and you're going to have to try again, but you're down a stock due to it.
I like the idea there from Mr. Purple. The second that side B landed, he goes off stage and nairs instead of going for the down air. Down air is a little bit flashier, but that nair hitbox a little bit easier to land, and Lofts not able to tech the stage in time, ends up losing his stock for it. Mr. Purple at 90%, and Mario can kill early if he does find, just a raw smash attack somewhere here. But he's opting to keep Mr. Purple off stage. At forward are not quite going to land, and Mr. Purple doing a very good job of making himself very elusive, especially in these off-stage scenarios. Lofts not really able to edge guard.
I feel like the bigger problem is just that Mr. Purple is doing so much in every space that they're in the air. You can throw out your Super Soaker as much as you want, but Ness can not only go through the map, but as that PK Thunder, which will bring you back in most opportunities. Lofts just really has to confirm the kill as a chance to kind of bring this back, but it's just not looking too good.
Mr. Purple in firm control now. This should be a back throw. Not going to be able to take the stock quite yet. Another flood. Going to send him way up high forward. They're not going to connect either. But there's really nothing Lofts can do about that angle except for maybe snipe with a fireball. That up air connects and actually will take the stock. So Lofts is on the board, but Mr. Purple still a full stock up, and Lofts has not been able to really land any of those classic Mario combos we're used to seeing.
How are you going to hit it on a character who basically is floating around the map like a mini Kirby? It is absolutely rude, and Lost is only going to continue more to struggle against it. I think this is where you can, get away with playing a little bit more passively, being a little bit more respectful. Oh, but the spike just barely misses out.
Up smash not going to kill either, but that up smash is very powerful. Good grab here to send Mr. Purple off stage once again. Opts to air dodge back to ledge. Back air not going to connect. Nair on the turnaround. Forward air not going to connect. The up B, dangerous. Jabs to send Lofts off stage once more. Up B connects, looking for the up air, and he will find the patience from Mr. Purple coming through, and he takes game one via 2-stock.
I mean, Mario dressed for a wedding, but it felt more like a funeral. That's just the part that makes me upset. And definitely when we go to look at how these players are going up against each other, Lofts just not being able to hit those, the standard what the Mario's known for, especially just not being able to land on the stage without immediately being knocked off. I feel that's what Mr. Purple was thriving off of. Lofts was hitting a lot of just basic things, and you're not really going to kill in those types of changes. While Mr. Purple, everything is a setup. I don't really think you would call Ness one of those more combo characters, but rather able to just set up things like that, and get away with it in the long haul. So it's easier to kind of get smashed out.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Ness does have combos, but they do most times require a lot more setup. Things like that side B, you just have to respect that projectile, and Lofts not able to do so. This is the one stock Lofts was able to take, just connecting that up air a little bit late to do so, because Mr. Purple already at 165, and that's high for any character to live to. So Lofts here, he's got to find a way to take these stocks, and the way Mr. Purple is playing, also, again, really appreciate the patience on that up air, right? Lofts approaches, he's falling back down to stage, uses that, I believe it was the down air to try and, hit Lofts back upward, but instead or you hit Mr. Purple back upward, but he cannot do so. Mr. Purple able to dip under that ledge, jump back, and use the up air. But we see a character swap here off the Ness. This is Mr. Purple's first time not using the Ness on stream, and he's opting for the Sora.
I really like Sora. I'll just get that out of the way. I feel Sora is one of the most deadly and versatile DLC characters being put in. Luckily, though, this is going to be a little bit easier for Lofts. There's not much that, comparatively to Ness that you're going to see Sora get away with, but you need to put some respect onto that recovery, except when that happens. That's definitely a moment where that's a feels bad type of situation. Mr. Purple has to remember, you're not Ness anymore. There's a big delay in those times.
Good 0 to death there from Lofts as Mr. Purple, again, getting caped on his recovery, loses his first stock. So good momentum here for Lofts. Gets a grab, another flood, but Mr. Purple playing a bit more patient, air dodging around that forward air. But here are those up air combos. Good back air, maybe a little bit greedy on that up B, but he is able to land on stage safely. Mr. Purple again backed into a corner here, does end up falling to center stage, but Lofts with control of the pace of the matchup so far.
I mean, Mr. Purple spending a lot of time just trying to figure out what to do rather than just doing it. Comparably to Lofts, I mean, they both just sat there with the shield. Lofts is going to be the first one who sits there and says, you know what, I'm going to look to hit. And now, Lofts is going to be able to look to try to get this second stock out and is barely in the orange themselves.
Good forward smash there from Mr. Purple. Not able to follow up on it though. Mr. Purple sitting at just over 100% or 130, nearly 150 off of that back throw. Not going to be able to take the stock quite yet. Mr. Purple able to make it back, but that's a dangerous recovery. Didn't snap to that ledge, so the up smash will take it, and all of a sudden, Lofts is up 3-1 on the stock count.
Yeah, no, that's what you're hoping for, especially, with a character who has such a good way to come back on the stage, or, just a side smash that literally tracks you. It can be very annoying to go up against, but I'm loving the fact that Loft is being able to control how Mr. Purple is playing, and maybe it's just the fact that Mr. Purple is not completely used to how Sora works. These small mistakes are now becoming big issues, and Loft is making sure to punish them.
Down, connecting, sending Lofts off stage. But Lofts could really use this next stock. He is at 120, so you have to be very careful here. Forward air connecting to send Lofts off stage once again. Playing very careful, gets that grab, forward throw, no follow-up, gets the flood. And Mr. Purple has spent what feels like half of this game off the stage. Oh, the up smash connects, and that's going to be a 3 stock for the side of Iona.
I respect the more passive style when it came down to the Mario, especially going up against a character like Sora. You're 100% right when you say Mr. Purple spent like the entirety of this match just in the air or off the stage, and that's solely what Lofts was kind of working on and making sure happens. The Mario's all about combos in these setups, so having these opportunities to use them, especially the punishment going out on Mr. Purple, that's what I love. The recovery can only last for so long, and if you can force those resources out, then you set yourself up for some good victory moments.
Yeah, the flood into the cape there was really smart from Lofts, and then able to get the second flood as well and the second cape, so there's just nothing Mr. Purple can really do once he's in that free fall animation. And it took a second. It took a minute for Mr. Purple to actually fall off stage. But either way, Lofts with a 3 stock. And remember, even if Iona can still technically come back, even though it is highly unlikely in this by this margin. That being said, any points Iona get here are massive because point differential is one of those tiebreaker statistics down the line when you're arguing for a playoff spot with a lot of these other teams. Getting a 3 stock, that's a lot of points on the board for Lofts, despite the margin that Iona still have here.
I think the better question when it goes down to my heart is, are you going to stick with that Sora? I feel Mr. Purple did not have a handle on it at all, which is a lot of confidence to go on a character and not get too much done. I respect it. It's something I would do in my games. Yet, maybe just having that lead, Mr. Purple isn't too scared, knowing that if you go back onto the nest, you're going to have a lot more control over this game. So possibly just a way to practice.
Yeah, I mean, they do have a lead here. This is the opportunity to kind of, test your palette a little bit if you have characters that maybe haven't seen the spotlight yet, see how they do. And I mean, clearly after that first game, we know what Mr. Purple's nest could do. He's got a history of this nest that we can look at and say, okay, this is a scary nest to play against. But, the Sora, again, we haven't seen Mr. Purple's, character palette outside of that nest. So to get a glimpse of what else he's looking at is interesting to see. But he is looking, it looks like, to secure the win here if he can. This nest is back on the docket onto Kalos here for game number 3.
I mean, look at this, back onto the nest, but Lost has warmed up, to put it in good words, and is looking to take this. So I think Mr. Purple should have looked to play nest beforehand, end it before you could have given the chance for the Mario to start figuring out what's going to work best, especially when these grabs come out. The only problem is now PK Fire is a very annoying ability.
PK Fire's racking up the damage. Lost, one of these players that he loves his combo characters, this Mario. Outside of that second game, we didn't see a whole ton of those combos. Now he's starting to find a few more of them. Good back air to get Mr. Purple off stage. But now, looking for a place to land, Mr. Purple able to get away. Good roll behind with Alp Smash. Not going to kill Quite yet. Maybe a second one. Still not going to do so. The high ceiling of Kalos coming in clutch for Mr. Purple. And now Mr. Purple just trying to buy some time. Trying to steal up off of that fireball. But gives Lofts an opportunity. Yo-Yo not going to connect the full hitbox there, and it's going to give Lofts another chance here. Floods away. Absorb not going to be able to heal him. So does he find a way back to stage 4? They're not going to connect. Up smash not quite there either. Both playing very dangerously at these high percents. Back air hits him off stage. This should be a yo-yo. No, instead tries to find an aerial. Cannot do so. The up air pressure just continues and will seal away Loft's first stock.
Fortunate not being able to break through it. Mr. Purple has definitely changed up the style of nest. No longer looking or going for these, quick aerials or dashes. Rather playing really far back, just doing as much damage as possible. Oh, I just felt that. I might need to go to the hospital. That hurt.
That forward air was something else, and he finally lands a spike hitbox of it too. So stocks for both players off the board. Still 2 apiece though, and Lost slowly starting to get some of this damage back. Slowly starting to even up that percentage. A lot of these neutral Bs side Bs that Mr. Purple was using are no longer connecting. Lost doing a good job of jumping away. Good back throw here by Mr. Purple to get him off stage. The up air follow up, another up B as well. Lost is playing with fire here as he cannot find a way back to stage through all these projectiles. He's up to 117%, but he does find a way back. That back air not going to connect. A lot of heavy hits being thrown up by Lost to try and even things up. Good back air. Flood coming through as well. The back air again from Mr. Purple. Not quite connecting. Both playing the spacing game very well.
I mean, a lot of bobbing and weaving, but once again, they reached the stocks, and yet Mr. Purple's taking that lead. Beautiful adaptations that we're seeing coming out, and they are both trying to play as carefully as possible. Nobody wants to go for that aggression at all, especially just look as the PK Fire has to come out just to try to braid out the shield, but the shield drops, you're able to get that free hit in, and while Mr. Purple's looking to get as much damage as possible until, either KO moment or until they die.
Good flood away there. But Mr. Purple should be able to recover here. That flood will not connect. Mr. Purple still on his second stock, and look at all the chip damage he's gotten onto Loft. 68%. Good dash attack there. Gets him away. Can't land the cape. uses the bounce, the flood away, and he lands on the platform too. Air dodges back to the ledge, and the up smash will take it. All that tricky movement finally gets seen through by Lofts, and it is a last stock scenario here in game number 3.
But Lofts is in a dangerous spot. I mean, to be able to bring this back would be one big spike to kind of make the difference. I feel Mr. Purple has not put themselves in that position, and Loss has to be the engager. That's the worst part about it. Mario's somewhat good at it, but I think Ness is always going to be a little bit better.
Lofts out of options there off stage. Could have had his jump taken by the up B, wanted the wall jump, and the air dodge just could not save him in time. It is Mr. Purple able to take game number 3 and ice this set for the Bobcats. They will win this week, but we still got one more set on the way, but very good stuff to both of these players.
Yeah, that was a lot scarier than I truly can like voice right now, and I think that's really because Lofts never gave up as much ground as the stocks were looking. Comparing this to the first round to now, I definitely saw that improvement, a lot of adaptations, but unfortunately not able to get these kills. It very much hurt, you know? That's what Ness is always going to be getting out of these fights, and though this spiked looked absolutely clean, never want that to happen at my wedding, I promise you that. Still, I gotta say, a shining moment when you get to look back, and you got your team a couple more points. That's what matters.
Yeah, a lot more points headed the Bobcats' way. Lofts, that 3 stock was good in game number 2, and this one was very close, but look at the tricky movement here from Mr. Purple. Used that bounce to get back to stage, air dodge back to ledge around that grab attempt. The problem is he rolls right into an up smash from Lofts to even things back up, and that's when you felt maybe Lofts has a chance here, but like you said, Mario kind of has to be that engager. He has to go in a lot of times because he is a combo heavy character. He's got a lot of damage that he can output if he gets something like a grab. But Mr. Purple, one of these players that makes himself very hard to track down, similar to Yaliso and company that we saw on Iona. Just the windows of opportunity a lot of the times are few and far between, and Mr. Purple was able to pinch down on those opportunities, and at the end of the day, put Quinnipiac up 20-5 as we get ready for set number 5. We're still waiting to hear those names, but still very good showings from Mr. Purple and Lofts.
You know, honestly, as we kind of get closer out, we do have a sense of who these players are going to be, and it does seem we have Crystal Rose, which is someone who I definitely want to see a lot more of, was able to play last week, but only for a little tiny bit, and Jack Boz.
Yes, so we got to interview Crystal Rose last time, but in terms of Crystal Rose's record, they are 0-2 so far this season. We've only seen them play heroes so far, so could be fun to watch. Not a lot of heroes here in the EGF, and they are kind of scattered about. We had a very good hero in Wichita State, but as far as I'm aware, they have graduated from the collegiate scene, and we have not seen them since. On the flip side of that, Jack Boz, for Iona, we've typically seen them. We've only seen them once, and they used Pyramithra the last time we saw them. So could be a DLC battle for our final match between these two MAC schools.
You know, I want to say a little bit more of the hero. Everybody has a different playstyle when it goes to a character, but hero is going to be one of those shining moments where I'm going to take a look and say, you know, what's your usage of MP? I think that's by far one of the most unique, though it's still similar to like Cloud and other characters. What I like about the MP system is that it rewards you for, you know, being spontaneous, getting a lot more hits in. That's one of my favorite parts when it comes down to the character, but it's a Pyramithra versus Pyramithra!
The Ditto to cap off the day for these two schools. The Pyra Mithra Ditto on PS2. If you're looking for who's who, it's going to be very hard to tell between these two outfits. So Crystal Rose on the side of Quinnipiac, their third appearance on stream, and Jackpaws, they are opting to stick with this Mithra for now, pressuring Crystal Rose very well. Crystal Rose on this Pyra. And the difference between these two, if you don't know about these characters, Mithra very fast, very combo heavy, can string together a lot of hits, and has a little bit better of a recovery. But the kill power of this character comes from Pyra, just the raw damage they can output. But that side beat coming up a little late, not able to snap the ledge, and Crystal Rose loses their first stock.
As much as I like the fact that Crystal Rose is spending more time on Mithra, so you're very much a powerhouse, you're not going to do as much as comparably, Mithra, who is very combo heavy, able to get a lot more hits, and those parries, you've landed 2 of them, but you're not going to be able to break through. The hits are just too fast and too many to kind of be able to break through. I feel this is kind of where you just try to go for that mirror match.
Jackpaw is doing a very good job of punishing, too. A lot of Pyra's hits, they have a lot of end lag to them, and a fast character like Pyra can punish them very quickly. Crystal Rose still opting for this Pyra, still trying to find a way through to take this stock. That side B very close to, again, being a little bit low to the stage. Both now opting for Pyra, and it is Jackpaws able to find the kill once again. So Crystal Rose on their last stock.
It's not working out well. Mithra is going to be able to just do so much, and, Pyra able to do so much damage. That side smash is going to work in most options, but if you can't hit your opponent, does it really even matter?
Good jab there from Jackboss to get Crystal Rose off of them. Now the early switch to Pyra once again. That up B, we've seen them pull the trigger on that up B a couple of times, and really that was the first time it connected. Good backer, forward smash, gonna get Crystal Rose off stage. Expecting to switch to Mithra here to get back to that ledge, but the up B reversal from Jackboss is enough to take the stock. It's a 2-stock victory for the side of Iona.
2 completely different styles when it comes to playing a character. That's what mirror matches are always going off of. But if I can point one thing out, it's that Pyra and Mithra, there is always going to be one way that is a bit better. And, well, when you're at that high percentage, that's where Pyra starts to shine, and, well, Mithra's going to shine when you're at those lower percentages, especially being able to rack up this damage. I think that is primarily what Jackpaws focuses on more often than not. Even, not even looking for spikes or moments to force their opponents off the stage. I mean, you obviously get these knockouts, but it was more of just Crystal Rose just trying to get back onto the stage, and then Jackbots looking to punish at every opportunity with either character, but more often than not, it was going to be Mithra looking for this damage, and then eventually the Pyra would go in if they had a chance for just a quick, easy kill.
Yeah, Crystal Rose kind of got locked onto that Pyra for a very long time, and Jackbots was ready for it because you could tell just the speed of the character is just so threatening, and there are so many heavy-hitting moves on Pyra that just have a lot of end lag to them that you can punish accordingly if you're still swinging for the fences. Now, Crystal Rose played a little bit more cautious, I think, as that set went on, as towards the latter half of that first game, wasn't as heavy on moves like that, things like the up B and the side B that take a lot of time for those hitboxes neutral B for those hitboxes to truly be done. That being said, Crystal Rose opting to switch off of the Ditto here and go to Rosalina and Luma.
Rosalina and Luma. More of an interesting choice than anything going up against Pyra and Mithra. I do like the character of Rosalina and what she represents, and especially her combos with the Luma. But I mean, Jackboss is really good at just kind of going in, hitting you, and looking to leave. You have to abuse the damage as much as possible if you're Crystal Rose, but it's not always going to work.
Things relatively more even this time around, and the question I think is for Jackboz, how do you get rid of this Luma? Because that's a lot of kill power on this character when Luma is still on stage, and a lot of utility gone when Luma is, gone from this kid, and a forward smash landed off the roll from ledge. So Crystal Rose with a big early lead here in game number 2.
I just love how much the Luma is used to get a bit of an extra range going up against your opponent. It's working out to great degrees, forcing Jackboz to kind of switch the way they want to play, though. They are relying a lot of just moving away, then walking into your opponent. This is where that switch up comes in from the characters, and now you have to deal with someone who's dealing an insane amount of damage and hits for, a little bit longer.
That was a good call out from Jackboz saying, hey, you're going to be right here, and lands that neutral B to take away that first stock. But what I also really like about Crystal Rose is that they're doing a very good job of landing the aerials at the last possible second, using that back air or forward air right before they land and getting the last second hitbox. But that recovery is very good, so they will end up making it back to stage. Things are back to even, especially in terms of percent too, only about 9% separating them. And it is Jackboz back in the lead. That Nair, a lot of speed coming through here, but now opting for the Pyro. Wanted the forward smash, couldn't find it. Good parry coming through, air dodging around the attempted punish by Crystal Rose, and the dash attack also nearly killing. We'll take Luma off stage, but Crystal Rose is back to the ledge. Get up attack not going to work. Quick forward tilt, I believe, coming out and taking Crystal Rose's second stock.
I'm really loving the adaptations. I mean, Crystal Rose, you don't always, it's not often you'll see that recovery, and it works to great degrees, but now you're starting to kind of struggle when it comes to the output of damage here. You're keeping up with the speed, but now you've lost your Luma, which is pretty much that smaller edge you've been looking for throughout this entirety of the match, though forcing it onto 2 stocks. You have to try to wait for your Luma to come back and then play up against the Mithra kill before they turn into the Pyra is my idea.
And Rosalie and Luma can get a lot of work done without Luma. It's just that raw kill power is kind of off the board for a little while that Luma is gone. Good down tilt to get Jackboz off stage, but that up B is going to go past the ledge and put a lot of damage and pressure onto Crystal Rose. Trapped in the corner once more. Forward tilt going to get rid of Luma. Up smash in return, though, from Crystal Rose. The stocks are back to even. What can Crystal Rose do? 78% right now, and Jackboz not letting off on this pressure.
Crystal Rose, it's at a dangerous percentage. I feel like Pyra can literally just sneeze and it could be all over. Gotta be looking to force your opponent off this stage. Just mess with them as much as possible. Play as slow as you need to. Just rack up the damage and look for that final hit is what I'd say if this was a different timeline. However, it seems that, the 90s still happened as Pyra and Mithra showing just to have the edge.
Crystal Rose falls, but Jackbox gets the victory here. Cutting into that lead from Quinnipiac, Jackboz gets the 2-0 win in a 1-stock scenario here in game number 2. Puts a few more points on the board, but the win at the end of the day does go to Quinnipiac. That being said, both these players, we don't get to see them all that often, but still very good showings. Jackboz, again, this Pyra, it seems a bit more practiced than last time we saw it, and Crystal Rose, showing off a few more of their characters between, their Pyra Mithra and this Rosalina and Luma, putting up a very strong showing.
I'll definitely give you credit on that a lot when it goes down to just the improvement that we've seen when it goes down to the mechanics of these Pyra and Mithra, and I definitely feel the Rosalina did its job, but in the long term, the Rosalina definitely struggled up against the adaptations and how, Pyra and Mithra were working with, and that's not something that you're going to be looking for in your players, or rather the way that you're trying to make these adaptations still really good, just to kind of say, hey, I'm not gonna win this mirror, I need to switch it up, and you do. That takes a lot of confidence.
Yeah, when the original game plan goes awry, you have to be able to adapt. And Crystal Rose, that adaptation was there, just didn't quite come through in time. But good stuff to Jack Boss though to be ready for it. Again, their Pyramithra, very good, and numerous times too, calling out Crystal Rose with the kind of falling neutral B. A lot of hitboxes there, a lot of raw kill power on that move. So very good stuff to them. Our final score here, Quinnipiac 20 to Iona 10. Quinnipiac, they advanced to, I believe, 9-1 on the season. Their only loss this season so far is to the University of DePaul, who we talked about already, is one of those championship caliber teams, and we will see them later on today. Iona, they take a loss here, but coming up next week, they've got a matchup against St. Peter's, another MAC conference battle for them. Should be very fun. We're going to cut to a quick break here to get an interview ready with one of the Bobcat players. It looks like it'll be Baco the Shulk after this, so don't go anywhere. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the EGF. We are here with Baco from the side of Quinnipiac after their 20-10 victory over Iona. Baco, how's it going?
Going pretty good. I've had a good day so far. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys, you get the win over Iona here, and I mean, how do you guys feel about your overall performance this week? This is a MAC rivalry, and you guys stepped up to the plate.
We feel pretty good about it. Going into it, we have tried to prepare a lot for it because statistically speaking, Iona is actually kind of they're a weird team. They're kind of a bit all over the place with their stats. So we just had to make sure we had to be all in this week because that uncertainty kind of scares us. So we prepared and we came and we conquered.
Definitely like those ideas. And what is the biggest thing that you're actually looking out for when you're especially scouting against your opponents?
We look a lot for the characters that people play because a lot of us have some matchups that we're not quite fond of, and we also look for just who people have beaten, how often they win, how often they lose, those kind of stats.
I, you know, definitely like those ideas and all that. But I kind of want to get a moment into the Baco and everything, because I really liked your showcasing on the Shulk and going up against your opponents, and it was very, very close. So what gave you that edge, especially in those moments? I know for me, if I'm stressed out, I start sweating, my hands get crumbly, I start shaking violently. How do you, keep yourself calm and make sure that you bring the win?
Um, I just kind of clear my head entirely. I try to shut up the side of my brain that is trying to tell me, like, oh, it's like this percent, it's like this stock, it's getting close to the end, because that's just a distraction. And I also try to like limit myself from like trying to let my conscious brain like try to give instructions, because my brain, like everyone's brains, they know what to do when they're playing the game. So if you just let it be, and just let yourself play, your hands know what to do, your brain knows what to do, and just like you have to trust yourself in that moment. And that's kind of what helps me keep in the mindset to win.
You guys have a big matchup coming next week. You guys get to play against the defending MAC champions, the Siena Saints. You two have gone back and forth throughout the regular season and the postseason. How do you prepare for a heavyweight matchup like this?
First off, lots of practice. We have practices every week, and we're gonna make sure we play a lot of games just to make sure we're warmed up and ready for it. And secondly, the most important thing for us in that scenario is we go back to the last times we played Siena, and we watch ourselves and we see the type of mistakes that we make, the type of good things we do, the type of mistakes that they make, what we can take advantage of in their lineup. And it's generally the same, but just it's more stressful and more in depth.
Absolutely. I guess our last question for you here, while you are with us, is there anyone you would like to shout out or thank while you have the microphone?
Not in particular, just my team. They played really well today, and they all deserve a round of applause. Let's go!
All right. Well, love the insight there. And thank you once again for joining us, Baco. Congrats on your victory this week. And we will see you next week when you guys play Siena. All right. And with that, we will be cutting to a short break to get ready for the next match. And we will be right back after a quick intermission. Don't go anywhere. EGFC will be right back.